Hi friends, this is Dr. Winterbottom. I want to thank you for your patience with what happened to me last week, and I want to go over a couple of things about the reading assignment I posted for you. So we are reading chapter 9 in the book. It's called Narration, and this is a new folder called Week 9. This is the Week in 8-9 reading assignment, and the chapter 9 narration begins on page 225, but you're just going to use this folder over here called Readings to access it. I'll show you that in a sec. Once you get into the chapter, I want to offer you a big time-saving hint. I'm not asking you to read the whole chapter. I'm only asking you to read certain sections of the chapter, and that's all that's going to be on the quiz. So, if you want to save yourself a lot of time, pay attention to these instructions. So, the sections that I want you to read include the student essay called Taking on a Disability, and then this section called Developing an Essay with Emphasis on Narration. It's going to look like this at the top of the page. These are the sections I'm asking you to look at, and they're all going to appear, most of them are going to appear on what will look like one page on the computer. It's actually going to have several page numbers that you'll see off to the side, but it's just these sections here. And then this other section that's called Narration Checklist, the 4 bases, and that looks like this. And there's a few questions at the end of the quiz that are from this section. Most of the quiz questions are going to be from this section called Developing an Essay with Emphasis on Narration. And it's all about this student named Lisa and her brainstorming and rough draft writing process as she writes this essay called Taking on a Disability. So let's go ahead and go over to the reading folder. I also want to point your attention to this little device or icon here. When you're in the chapter, just remember, if you click on this, you can have the chapter read to you. All right, so to get to the chapter, you're going to go to this folder that's called Readings. Let's click there. And then it's all the way at the bottom. And I always tell you the chapter readings are for reading purposes only. So if you see extra assignments or activities in there that we didn't discuss, you don't have to worry about them. All right, so chapter 9, narration. This is a link. It's going to take you here. You're going to launch the assignment. It's really just the chapter reading. Launch the reading assignment. Let's click on that. Okay, now here's the first section of the chapter. I believe I already went over this in class. I showed you a few slides from a presentation. There are a couple of student essays to consider. We are only worrying about this first one that's called Taking on a Disability. So you can read that one, but you can skip this other stuff that's lower down on the page. You don't have to worry about that other stuff. Then you come over here, and most of what I'm asking you to read is in this part of the reading, right? Developing an essay with emphasis on narration. I want you to look at this section that's about using dialogue and some rules for using dialogue. And then the rest of it is all about development through pre-writing and this student named Lisa who wrote Taking on a Disability. So you'll see that the reading kind of walks you through her free writing that she did, and then how she made a scratch outline after that. And then she did some revising. She wrote a first draft, read it through, showed it to her roommate. Then she made some suggestions. She made a list of suggestions about improvements she wanted to make. So most of the quiz questions are going to be about everything that's here, right? About Lisa's writing process. a little bit about the rules for using dialogue. There'll be a couple of questions on that, but the majority of the questions are going to be about this material about Lisa and her writing process that you see here. All right. And then there's one more section that has a few questions. If you go to here and focus on this section called Narration Checklist, the 4 bases about unity, about support, about coherence, about sentence skills. It's a checklist, so there's questions. Have I included a thesis statement that clearly identifies a single experience or story that I am going to recount? Does each paragraph and each sentence within the paragraph help either to keep the action moving or to reveal important things about the characters? And so on. So there are just a few questions at the end of the quiz that are about this little section, this narration checklist. All right, and that's it. I hope that that is clear and helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Oh, you know what? Let me just show you one more thing if I go back to Blackboard. I'm so forgetful. Okay, so if we go back to our week 9 folder, what you can do is on Tuesday when the quiz becomes available, right? You'll see here there's a link to the quiz. So it's not available yet, but it will be available on Tuesday. And at that time, you'll be able to click here and then you'll click on the quiz here, right? And you can absolutely have the reading open in another tab here. So you can click back and forth between the 2 screens. The quiz is going to be Open Note and Open Book. All right, thank you.